Welcome. I'd like to call this Finance Committee meeting to order, our first one for 2023. Welcome back, everybody. Hope everybody had a great holiday. We've got a lot of work this year, as we do every year. So the first thing we have is assignment for request for council action. For the Finance Committee, we have several. We have Economic Development, TREX transfer. We have 20002 withdrawal job creation grant agreement with Expert Crane. 23003 expenditure absolute construction chip grant rehab. 234 increase expenditure absolute construction chip grant rehab. 235 increase PO 2022-1600 C&J Noble chip grant rehab. 236 expenditure for Baker, Dubliker, Wiley, and Matthews Law Department. 237 expenditure over 15,000 Clarity Cloud Inc. Building Department. 23.8 expenditure of 15,000 Motorola Police Department. 23.9 amend Code 13301 Association Memberships Police. 23.10 budget amendments. 23.11 grant application ODOT Office of Aviation ALP update. 23.12 amend ordinance 19022 bids for city railroad improvement project. 23.13 amend sales and benefits code regarding healthcare and travel policy. 2314 grant application ODOT municipal bridge program. 2315 amend code regarding public lots and garages parking regulations. Streets and sidewalks, we have 2316 flashing crosswalk light at Ashwood Lane and Reagan Parkway. Next one we have 2301 economic development TREX transfer form. Mrs. Marshall.
Thank you, Mr. President. Kephart Fisher LLC attorneys at law representing the owners of City Barbecue located at 960 North Court Street, Medina. They've requested a transfer of a D1 liquor permit to the city of Medina from their location in Beaver Creek, Ohio. The permit number is there on your form, which is 150-878-10045. Ohio Revised Code states that a permit can be transferred from one area to another for the purposes of an economic development project. City Barbecue has entered into a lease for the real estate located at 960 North Court Street, which was formerly occupied by Dickey's Barbecue Pit. That space has been vacant since January of this year. Well, actually, when I did this was in 2022, so it was January of 2022, and they plan to open March 6th of 2023. City Barbecue does desire to sell alcoholic beverages at its locations. However, the quota for liquor permits allowing on-premises consumption in Medina is full. Therefore, City Barbecue LLC must transfer a permit and request consent of Medina City officials to Trex in a liquor permit. City Barbecue will employ 4 full-time, 28 part-time, and will invest $1.7 million in this project for internal and exterior renovations. And their estimated payroll is $510,000 annually. We are respectfully requesting council to authorize the mayor to sign the attached Ohio Department of Commerce Division of Liquor Control Economic Development Trex transfer form. We did ask for the emergency clause on this as well, although I'm not sure, but the reason for that was it's been taking an exorbitant amount of time to get the liquor license approved by the state of Ohio. So we used the last example of the one that was submitted for the Common Ground Market project. The resolution was signed by the mayor and council in July of 2022. The mayor had signed the form on July 12th, and as of January 5th, the State of Ohio website database shows the application is still pending. I did follow up with Dave Tepper, who is the fellow that had applied for the transfer, just to double check and make sure, like, hey, did you get your license? Have you heard from the state? What's going on? And so the state of Ohio requires them to work through the health department on the different types of equipment that is needed, and that they have to have, because they have to have it set up as a restaurant, then they have to serve some type of food, and then they have to get special permission for packaged food that they're doing. So there's a lot of extra hoop jumping that the state is putting on the business as well, and then it also is through the health department. So that is why we asked for the emergency clause, because we didn't feel that we wanted to hold them up an extra 30 days when we know it's going to take several months for them to get through the other processes at the other end. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
Mrs. Marshall?
Yes.
Would there be any advantage to us talking to Ms. Ray to see if she can bulldog this a little bit?
No, not on this one, just because right now they are working through the Medina County Health Department on approvals of their equipment and their kitchen and the sinks and all of those different things. So
Can Dan help on that?
is Dan here? I don't know.
Yeah, I heard Dan knows a little bit about that.
Any other questions?
Move to approve with the emergency clause?
Second, including the emergency clause?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 23-2, withdrawal of a job creation grant for Expert Crane. Mrs. Marshall again.
Thank you, Mr. President. So unfortunately, this request is for council to rescind 2 ordinances relative to Expert Crane project. Ordinance 21-22 pertains to the developer agreement that the city had with the company, and then ordinance 29-22 pertains to the job creation grant agreement itself. The company has sent a formal letter stating due to unforeseen economic conditions that they will not be moving forward with the project at this time. They did purchase the Fruth Turner property, and they are hopeful that once the economy stabilizes, that they will revisit the project. But I feel it's in their best interest for them to withdraw the grant agreement, because they're not going to be able to meet the expectations and everything that they had outlined. So we're going to go ahead and withdraw their application at this time.
Thank you. Any questions?
Move to approve?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 23-3, expenditure over $15,000 for Absolute Construction chip rehab.
Well, technically, Mr. President, thank you. It's a chip repair project, not a rehab. There is a difference. And this is for finance approval only because it exceeds the amount that Board of Control can approve.
It's for new roof and gutters.
Yes, which are already on.
All right. Any questions?
Move to approve?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 23-4, increased PO for 2022-1747 Absolute Construction. This says chip rehab also.
And it is a chip repair. So it's just an increase of $1,500 to, as you can see, reroute some gutters and eliminate water and ice hazards at the home. Again, the work has been done, but this is a finance only.
And this is on
approval.
West Homestead.
That is, yes, 237 West Homestead.
236.
Yes, thank you.
Any questions?
Move to approve?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. And 23-5, increased PO 2022-1600 C&J Noble Construction. Is this a chip rehab?
This is a rehab.
Okay.
And the difference between a repair and a rehab is the amount of money that's spent. And this project, when it's completed, we will have spent $76,000 on this rehab project.
On the home on Normandy Drive
In
in
Brunswick.
This is a
Yes.
Brunswick one. Okay.
And so this is request to increase the PO $4,000 for a total of $76,000.
Any questions?
And I would request the emergency clause, yes,
Because?
because the project's already done and we need to pay the contractor. And it would have, it was a matter of you not meeting for 4 weeks that really makes this more of an emergency.
Who wasn't meeting for 4 weeks? We're always on the job.
Well, you
No, I think she's right. I don't think we were.
We're always taking calls from constituents, even though we didn't physically meet here.
you weren't here for meetings.
Any
Moved
other
to,
questions?
moved to approve with the emergency clause.
Second, including the emergency clause.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
23.6, expenditure for Baker Dublicar for the Law Department. Mr. Huber.
Thank you, Mr. President. Baker and Dublicar Law Firm is the law firm that is forwarded to the city of Medina by our insurance company. Our insurance company pays roughly $10,000 to $20,000, depending upon the issue, as legal fees for when they representative. And after we exhaust that initial amount of money, the city is required to pay their fee, while at the same time, our insurance company provides the coverage for a loss if there is a loss. In this case, we have Baker and Dublicar handling a couple pieces of litigation involving suits filed by Walker and Jock, and one is up in the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals, one is pending in the Common Pleas Court. So this is a purchase order to cover expenses for this coming year.
Any questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 23.7, an expenditure of $15,000 for Clarity Cloud, Inc. for the Building Department. Mr. Gladish.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is to cover the cost of our software support for our basic gov building department software. It also covers the planning and zoning software support. It's through basic gov. It's a 60-40 split. This is the first year it's gone up over 15,000. Last year it was 14,003. So
Any questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 23.8, expenditure of $15,000 for Motorola for the Police Department. Chief Kinney.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the maintenance agreement for our body cameras and car cameras.
Questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
Clerk, please, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 23.9, amending code section 13301, association memberships for the Police Department. Chief Kinney.
Thank you, Mr. President. We're requesting permission to join the APCO education membership group, as well as the associated costs. This is for our dispatchers and their emergency medical dispatch certification. We're requesting the emergency clause because we're in the midst of a 911 redirection project, and this is a requirement for the dispatchers so that we can pursue that project.
Any questions?
Move to approve with emergency clause.
Second, including the emergency clause.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 2310, budget amendments. First, we have 2301 IT budget. Keith?
When council passed the IT budget during the budget hearings, we didn't actually have a fund created yet. It was just passed as to be determined, and when it was determined, I didn't get the budget that had passed into it. So this is the budget that you passed that was intended to be the budget for the IT department. This just brings it in.
Any questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 2302, fitness room. Is this Keith or Mr. Jansen?
Yeah, I can take this. This is to move the money to cover the costs for design services from Fanning and Howie for the rec center design.
Any questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 2023-03, or 3, accept a donation. Keith?
Well, in general, anytime we get a donation, we still need it to be appropriated in order to be able to spend it. As far as the specifics of it,
This is a check that we received from the Medina County Senior Services Network for a grant that we applied to provide lunches to seniors, at the rec center.
Oh, good. Any questions?
No, hold on, John. That's the next one. This is a check to the fire department, I believe, from FBC Chemical Corporation.
I was wondering why FBC Chemical was
The
donating money
first
to that.
$1,000. Jansen's up next.
So now you already know the next two.
You're a little bit on a, you want to get you in there, don't you? All right. So this is a donation from FBC Chemical to the fire department, okay. Any other questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 2023-4, accept a grant. Jansen, this is yours now. $250.
Yeah, that's what I just mentioned ahead of you, sorry.
You're just jumping the gun. Any questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 2311, grant application for ODOT for the aviation for the airport. Is this Mr. Patton or Mr.?
Thank you, Mr. President. Council might remember a while back, we applied for and accepted a grant from the FAA to pay for 90% of our ALP update, the program. As part of that, ODOT has a 5% match to that, so the FAA grant was $168,750. ODOT will pay the $93.75, and then the city is responsible for the balance, which is $93.75. Asking for the emergency clause because we were advised of this by our consultant December 20th. The paperwork had to be in by the end of the year. I did speak to ODOT. They were willing to accept the balance of the paperwork, knowing this was going to be coming. Said get it as soon as we can.
Question on says the money's coming from to be determined. What, is it the airport fund? Is that where we're going to bring this from?
It would be, yeah, I apologize for that.
Okay. Any other questions?
I was hoping it was from finance.
Move to approve with the emergency clause.
Second, including the emergency clause.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We have 2312, amend ordinance 19022, bids for city railroad project. Mr. Patton.
Thank you, Mr. President. We opened bids, accepted bids, and opened them for the railroad project on December 23rd. Our estimate for the project was $411,000. Unfortunately, we opened the bids. The lowest bid and ad alternate was just under $457,000. So we reviewed the bids, talked to the contractor, our consultants, and a couple other folks about this, and we don't think there'd be any advantage to rebid the project. We don't think we get a lower price. In fact, might not get the same price. So we're recommended that we award this project. To do that, we need to modify the ordinance, amend the ordinance. I would note Board of Control did approve this this afternoon, contingent upon council's acceptance of amending the ordinance. We are asking for an emergency clause because originally this project, the original ordinance passed in October 11th, I believe. Secondly, when we bid, to secure the bid, we accept bonds, a bid bond. Our bid bond is active for 30 days, so we'd like to award this before that bond expires. There would be a chance the contractor could elect to withdraw his bid after that date. I don't think he will, but that's the reason we're asking for the emergency clause.
Thank you. Any questions?
Move to approve with the emergency clause.
Second, including the emergency clause.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 2313, update pay code for contracts for healthcare, reference the travel policy. Keith?
That's actually two separate things. The update for the healthcare is just to match what we're doing with the contracts, and then the reference to the travel policy is because we passed a travel policy last year, and as we clean up these ordinances and move forward, we want the pay code to reference it.
So we're just adding to the pay code exactly what we've approved for the unions, and then the travel policy is the same for them, same for everybody. Okay, any questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 2314, grant funds, ODOT City Bridge Replacement Program. Patrick?
Thank you. ODOT has started a program, another new program for the municipal bridge projects. We have two bridges in the city that we believe qualify for that because of their existing condition, Prospect Street and South Huntington Street. So we're requesting permission to submit an application for funding to replace both of those bridges. And we do not need an emergency clause.
Oh, thank you. Any questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 2315, amend code, public lots, garages, parking regulations. Mr. Dutton.
Thank you. So the city currently owns and controls 7 public lots and 2 garages. Looking through our code, we really don't have a lot in there which addresses either one. So this request includes a few amendments. One, it defines them as municipal off-street parking facilities, which is basically all the lots and garages which we either own or have a lease agreement for public parking. 351.14. So this does a few things. It authorizes the city engineer to basically lay out the lots and garages and maintain them. Allows the mayor to place time restrictions on parking lots. Prohibits a few typical things like parking in a drive or over multiple parking spaces. And also prohibits parking of semi-trailers, tractors, or large vehicles, which I believe we've had somewhat of a problem with in the past. It also indicates that any violations of this section basically go to an existing penalty section in the traffic code. So the second part is a little bit different. It's a parking permitting program. So in the planning documents we've had, our comprehensive plan, we've really encouraged residents downtown. We also have the Liberty View project to the south here in development, which will add some new residences. And the idea is to provide a parking permitting program to allow them an option for parking. So what this would do, it was allow the mayor or his designee to issue parking permits. This would allow anybody with the permit to park in any lot in excess of the time requirements. So it doesn't guarantee them a space, it doesn't designate it in space, it just allows them to park in any lot, say a 3-hour lot, and they could stay there as long as they want. This would only be available to residents of the historic district, was basically the 9 blocks around the square, or a landmark, which includes the Farmers Exchange. And we have a price in there of $20 per month for the permit. So that would just give a little bit of an option to people living downtown for parking permitting. And then you have a map there in your package showing our existing lots, garages, and the dashed line around there is the historic district. Thank you.
Thank you. So this just gives an option to residences whose landlord may not have adequate parking or enough parking. There's an option now that they would be able to park in certain city lots overnight, pretty much. That's kind of what we're doing?
Yeah, it would be any city lot or garage and without adhering to the time limits, if there are any.
Okay. Any questions?
Mr. Coyne, if I could. So Andrew and Greg Huber and I worked together on creating this draft, and Andrew also was able to get Worcester's for us, which has a similar program when they were encouraging downtown housing. And we wanted to restrict it to where the employees of the downtown are not using it. The employees obviously can walk, but some of the concern with the downtown, a couple of things that were brought to my attention is not that there's not necessarily adequate spaces. We have probably close to 1,200 parking spaces of city-owned, leased, and some of the county spaces during the non-county hours. But it's more of a perception, so that when we're trying to encourage downtown development and housing, how do we override that if the fear of a resident moving in is that they're not going to be able to find a parking space. So we put this together. The $20, we had to start somewhere. If you think that's too much or not enough, that could be adjusted. The other thing that was brought to my attention was it may be helpful too, and we're going to make a sign for that at the space that's closest to the exit towards Liberty Street, excuse me, for a loading and unloading zone. So, for example, it may be Sully's, it may be Dan's Dogs, the cupcake place. They could park there, actively load or unload, and then move the car. That space would be reserved simply for that. Or once the housing is in place, within the downtown, those that are closest to that parking deck and using it, if they came home with a carload of groceries, don't have to park across from Napa or the county parking deck if this one's full. It gives them the option then of getting the groceries in the house and then moving the car to a different permitted parking space. So we were trying to accomplish a number of things, and when we actually, and Andrew gets the credit, when we actually looked at some of the things that were missing within our existing parking regulations, tried to clean those up as too.
When you came up with the $20, how did you come up with that? Is that the cost to administer this program? Is that the estimated
Yeah, there's
cost?
going to be some staff time, you know, whether we get permits that hang on the mirror, which then you have to pay to get made, or do we simply print it on a piece of paper and have them put it up in the dash? We can sort through those things, and we wanted to have it available, but not do it, for example, for $5 a month, to where, you know, then we're being overwhelmed with requests for them. I think most people, given the opportunity to park free without a permit versus paying $20 a month or whatever number the council thinks is reasonable, that if that makes some people feel better and the city gets a little bit of revenue from that's fine too. But we didn't want it on the street because we want to turn those over for the businesses, and we didn't want the employees taking advantage of it, and then the residents still have nowhere to park.
So you have to prove that you're a resident.
Yes, sir. So, and the permit would be issued for a limited period of time. So if the lease was for 6 months, if the lease was for 12 months, then they would have to come in with their new lease then to renew the permit.
Questions? Bill?
Reggie, go ahead, sorry.
I was going to ask, is this comparable to what Worcester charges then?
Yeah, I believe it's the same amount, yeah.
Thank you.
No, I don't have a question. I just think I have a comment that I think it's a great proposal, because I think it demonstrates how thoughtful the city is and concerned about and understands the importance of growing the residential base in the historic district, as well as parking to accommodate the base that already exists of people that live here, and particularly without disrupting in any way the parking available for businesses. So I think it's a great proposal. I think it really demonstrates the city's, it recognizes the importance of both the retail availability as well as promoting the development of further housing and facilities, places for people to live within the historic district, and how important that is. So thanks for the work that was done with this. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Well, that concludes our first Finance Committee meeting, except for an executive session. So we did 15 ordinances and resolutions for the first meeting, which we're on a good roll here. Keep that up. Should be over 300 maybe. We'll see. Jim?
Okay, I will make a motion at 6:28 PM for council to go into executive session for conferences with the law director of the city concerning disputes involving the city that are subject to pending or imminent court action. To include the mayor, the law director. That's it.
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Motion passes.
We'll be recessing into executive session to discuss the imminent litigation. We will be exiting the executive session, taking no action on any item discussed in the executive session, reconvening into finance, adjourning finance, and then moving on to council. We are in recess.